New split is gonna go crazy. 15 haste, 65 AD, 80% active AD, 150% lifesteal effectiveness. Bro, isn't this gonna make Fiora unkillable? You work as a programmer? No. I stream. I live stream. Holy sh**. Bandle glass mirror. It was a shit item, honestly. This is a good buff. Base damage reduction 5 to 15. They said they were gonna lean more into resistances. 25 armor, 300 Anna. 300 Anna and 900 gold. Okay. Yeah, the tank items are going so hard. I love it. What? Isn't Rectrix a move speed item? They just lower 5 AD, but make it cheap as hell. Doesn't that make it broken? It's like, gives you % move speed. Is Rectrix primarily like a bruiser thing? Because they want bruisers to be faster. Tenacity 30 to 20%. That is a massive deal. Ability haste 10, 950 gold. That's another nerf though. Wait, is it? Yeah, he got nerfed twice back to back. Swifty, so expensive. What? 300 cost 300 mana. That's good. I don't think they should have upped the mana, but I'm glad it's 300. I always felt that this item costing 350 is stupid. It makes no sense. Because a lot of the times you're going to recall with 300 and this is going to be a lot better now. I like this. I really like this. I like that they lowered the cost. I think it's too much mana, but hey. Fairy Charm 200. Dagger 250. Man. Endless Elixir. Elixirs can be stacked and do not expire. Huh? What? That is insane! I love this. Oh, so you get elixirs forever, but you have to invest 500 in an item. Oh my god. You get 50 AP for 500, but don't get to buy an item. Where you would want this is if you're building Syndra, you just get your passive upgraded fully, you recall and buy this. You know what this can be? It's a very good supplementary tool for supports. Explain that, please. Okay, so what this is meant to be, it's an idea of your elixirs, the endgame elixirs. You have 3 of them. You have the Tenacity HP one, the Elixir of Iron. You have the Elixir, like the lifesteal, attack damage, and the AP and damage against towers. Now you can potentially get all 3. So the champs that have good Venn diagram of what they want in those like elixirs, if they can utilize all 3 elixirs, they would want this. So you invest 1500 and you get permanent stats. It got cancelled? Isn't finished set in stone. It wasn't meant to ship with split 3. So we're not going to have it to split 3. But yeah, they might need to touch up the elixirs. They might need to touch up the elixirs for this. Collector, insanely expensive. HP ratio to 1%. Minion damage higher, monster damage higher. Bro, Shen is back. Base damage per second flat bigger. Shen doesn't build that much HP anyway because he's got negation. And he prefers to build a bit more utility. This is kind of insane though. Wait, what is this? Oh my god! Less armor ratio, but super cheap. Holy shit. Tank items. They're not kidding with the tank items, man. They made them all so insane. Okay, so Storm Surge, less move speed, passive move speed, lowered, base damage a bit higher, AP ratio lower. Why are we lowering the ratio? I don't understand that part. Aren't they lowering AP across the board like crazy? They're lowering all of the damage, but like this is the damage that lowers the damage, you understand? The rest of the mage items are all gonna get nerfed, which loses the AP. And you're nerfing the item by itself, but you're also nerfing the item based off of the other item nerfs. Ratio is the one that shouldn't get touched, I think. You should shuffle power from flat to ratio. Sterax, static shift. God damn, so many changes. Surely a 4% move speed, again nerfed. See, like losing AP here, losing the bonus damage again. That kept losing 10 AP and then 5% here. Yeah, see, like this is massive AP difference. If you build 2 items, you're already like down at least 15 AP, which is 300 gold. And then also the 5%, which is another 300 gold likely, probably more, 400 or 500. So on 3 items, you already lost almost 1,000 gold. In terms of value on mages. And you also lose the ratio on, let's say, something like Storm Surge, which I don't know. Malignance, 25 to 15, AP 80 to 85. That's such a... You would expect the opposite. That's so goofy. Why? This should lose. This is a burst item. It shouldn't have... The authenticity of the item is in damage on the burst. You don't need ability haste. The authenticity of this item is to be the spamming. Why would they give it more AP but lower the ability haste? I think Malignance is still going to be a very good choice. Ah, this is kind of good change. Legendary shouldn't have high AP numbers. I wish they'd shuffle even more. Like even lower more AP and then shuffle more into burn. Again, for the item specialness. 3.6k. Whew. Aha. That's weird. 20 to 25, but 90 to 75. So it gets 5 haste, which is 250 value, and it loses 300 value on the AP, but you want AP more. It's a very weird change. I'm not a fan of it. Again, I wish they would shuffle like from AP and haste into more passive value again to give it more like item quality. I don't know why Rocket Bell has this much health in the first place. They nerfed the whole league? I mean, yeah, I agree with that. This is good. This is a good change. See, this is the item like change. This is what you want to do. You're giving the item its own identity by increasing the heal, lowering the damage. Precisely. Like this shit shouldn't do nearly the same damage like a Void Staff, but it also gives you haste and heal. Like why would you buy Void Staff? Because if you're very close in AP, the chance of that extra AP granting you a kill is very small, but the chance of the ability haste granting you an extra kill is very high, and the chance of the heal winning you the fight is very high, right? So all of these factors outvalue the specificity of the Void Staff. AP 80 to 70 MS 5 to 4, passive MS from 40 to 60 to 20. Yeah, this item's dead. Ability power reduced from 80 to 70, Seraph space shield reduced 250 to 200. I don't like this. This item is too strong. This item is too strong. Out of all the item options, Seraph's actually might be the best now. Because the percent on the mana is still good. Mana is a lot cheaper now. Remember that. Mana is a lot cheaper, easier to buy, and the shield is untouched. You're nerfing everything, and this is still pretty damn good. And this is supposed to be the defensive version of the item. Now it's gonna be just a consistent version of the item, which means mages are gonna go into the boring meta where they just rush Seraphs. Like Ray, rush Seraph. Talia, rush Seraph. You know, and you're not doing it for defensive purposes, you're just doing it because it's the most consistent. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't think a defensive version should be the most consistent one. Oh, finally we got to this. Attack an enemy champion grants melee 5%, range 4% attack rate for 6 seconds up to 6. At max attacks also deal 9 to 30 melee, 6 to 24 range, bonus adaptive damage increase by 1% per bonus attack speed. I like that it benefits off of attack speed, because you don't want champions to use this supplementary to attack speed in their build, which means it gets more value the more attack speed you have. So it should be an item for people who stack attack speed. Let's say you want it on Kog'Maw, who goes like 4-0 attack speed, right? Because then it gets more value out of this, and it gets more hits, which means more on hit. Also on hit favorability. I like it. I like it. Will it be broken? Might be. It might be, especially with all the items getting nerfed. Yeah, it might need a little bit of a nerf later on again, but we'll see. So let's list out like the most obvious things that are gonna happen, and we can draw some conclusions from that. Because I saw literally zero interesting discourse on the new items. Like the discourse in League Twitter right now, Sphere, is basically people post a picture of an item and like, oh, this item got nerfed, it's now useless. It gets us nowhere because all items are getting toned down a bit. There are certain items which look insane, something like Thornmail, but in general everything gets weaker. So 5 to 15% less value on everything. Okay, this is a big one. So all of the items are going to be weaker. We can draw tons of conclusions just from this fact alone. Okay, this is very, very interesting stuff. Armor and MR cheaper. That means a lot. That means a lot. HP harder to get. So HP is getting reduced on pretty much all of the items, but armor and MR is more emphasized. The defensive itemizations will now include way more armor and MR and less HP. What is a big conclusion we can draw from that is true damage value up. True damage value goes up because of these two. That's so big, okay? That's very, very big. People are going to get very, very tanky due to resistances early on. Damage down across the board. Damage down across the board. So the scaling things are bad. Scaling damage is negative, but flat damage goes up. What is flat damage and true damage at the same time? Garen ult, Darius ult, Vayne passive is percent health, which is pretty much gonna go up in value. Kog'Maw like shred percent health is gonna be very, very good, I think, especially with the new lethal tempo. We can draw a lot of conclusions from this. Matthias, thank you for 52 months, man. Appreciate it. What is true damage? Can you explain it? True damage is the true damage. Damage that cannot be affected by any of modifiers. It doesn't get increased or decreased by anything. So true damage is just that it. Like certain abilities do have it. Vel'Koz passive and ult can be true damage. It ignores resistances. So Darius can basically nuke people after a couple of auto attacks. And I also feel like Darius is gonna be so these are my top lane. Okay, top predictions. Darius, Garen, Cho'Gath. These are my top lane predictions immediately off of this. Because I'm thinking, okay, fights are gonna be longer. These guys have both burst, extended damage, and true damage. Cho'Gath value goes insanely up because HP is harder to get. The HP value of Cho'Gath ult goes up. It skyrockets. His ult is also true damage. It skyrockets. And armor and MR are cheaper, which have more value the more health you have. So Cho'Gath, for all those reasons, is going to be a lot better champ now. That's my reason to believe that. It's very, very interesting stuff. Okay, percent penetration up. Percent penetration is higher value. It might move earlier into certain builds. You might be building it sometimes second, third item instead of third, fourth, depending on the game and how much you can penetrate. What can we also conclude from the items? Item in general weaker. Okay, items in general are weaker, which means, what does that mean? Relative champion power goes up. Okay, relative champion power goes up. What does this mean? It means that you have less ways to modify your character's power by different out of your champion things. So the champion relies way more on its own power. Okay, so the champion relative power goes up. What we might conclude about this that matters quite a lot in competitive in solo queue: draft more important. Okay, why is draft more important right now? Because you cannot compensate that much with the items, because you get the genetic limit. You cannot compensate that much with the items, the weaknesses of the characters. Let's say you draft LeBlanc right now, but you get paired up with enemies draft 3 tanks. You're gonna be a literally useless burst mage. There's no way for you to itemize correctly as LeBlanc in a scenario where your scissor beats a rook. It's just not gonna happen. If enemies are stacking a bunch of MR and they're tanky, you're never gonna kill them. And you don't have enough consistent damage, okay? Control mages go up. Control mages go up because of the fights. Fights longer. Fights last longer because everybody's more tankier, okay? So let me actually, you can't hold alt and just move it up. You have to replace it like this. Not Visual Studio. So fights will be lasting longer, which means control mages go up. Why? Because control mages are something in between burst mages. They can burst, so they're good against squishies, but they can also do extended damage. Extended damage, extended fights. Yeah, so you might think like something like Orianna, Syndra are gonna gain value because they both burst and do damage. They can control fights. Fights are longer. Positioning matters way more in a fight. You know what also is very, very important about this? If fights last longer, games are longer. Games last longer because Snowball is down. Snowball down. Snowball is down. Games are longer. You know what this means? Mentality. ++. Mentality goes up in value. How well you handle defeat in a single fight, in early game, on a first blood, in early skirmishes, how well you shake off and continue fighting the game matters more now. Never FF actually gets rewarded. Never FF ++. Runes go up in relative value. Runes are gonna be more important now because they're gonna define your build way more because items define your build less. So choosing correct runes is gonna be more important. So overall, draft is more important. Runes are more important. You're gonna have to pay way more attention in the lobby, which I'm afraid it might actually dodge ++. Dodging increases now value. Dodging has higher value now, slightly higher value, because a good player will know what is a higher chance to be lost, which means the Riot Games needs to increase the dodge penalty. Perfect in time for my new video that's coming out very soon about dodging. This is referring to the split 3. These are a lot of very, very interesting things. So these champs are gonna go up in value. These are examples. So you will see tanks and tank shredders in the top lane. I think top lane will consist of tanks and tank shredders. Scaling champs definitely go up. Yeah, scaling champs. They do go up in value because the games tend to be longer, which is one of my mid lane things, like mid predictions. Anivia. Anivia goes up in value because she's a very, very good control mage in longer fights. I guess Gwen here, right? Why wouldn't Gwen go up? She's got true damage. She's a tank shredder. She sustains by itself, which is incredible in longer fights. Sustain has value. Sustain has higher value right now. Oh, this is scaling damage off of like a... Let me clarify, because of this, it can kind of confuse people. If your ability does 100% of your AP instead of flat damage, it loses value because you're going to have way less AP. If your ability goes off of percent AD, it's going to be lower value. For example, this is very interesting, like both AP and AD... minus, but abilities that have of your base AD and your total AD are going to be slightly less hit, right? It's going to be slightly less hit, but the bonus AD abilities are going to be hit a bit more, right? So that's one distinction with the AD. So yeah, scaling champs, you might even see Aurelion Sol again. He's a tank shredder. He does very well in longer games. He's a good stalling out character. These are the types of champs. They're going to gain in value, right? Aurelion gains in value. These are the champs that are gonna go up. Vel'Koz is gonna become better. Why? He's a control mage, artillery mage, which shreds squishies and tanks alike. He plays like an AD carry, where he focuses the first target, always. He can go front to back, and he's gonna become better. Smolder should get better now, but Smolder's getting giga nerfed in this patch, so that's a different thing. Given that items are more defining, and like, let's say armor and MR are easy, like cheaper, Ornn gets bigger spikes early game by just getting them. So Ornn gets better, right? Scion HP stacking value goes up. Ability haste goes up in value because there's way less of it and fights are gonna tend to last longer. Okay, so if ability haste has higher value, builds that have it embedded are gonna become better. Who's also good in longer fights? Like the champions that have short cooldowns naturally are gonna be better because they don't rely on haste that much and they build haste anyway. So somebody like Talia. Talia has low cooldowns, that's why she stacks tier very well. She has low cooldown, she spams. Rise is gonna go up in value, right? We're gonna have a Rise a lot more in the next patch. Or in 2 weeks. These are the characters. I'm not sure about Kassadin because meta is gonna shift more into true damage executions and CC, which is gonna harm him in a lot of fights. And his early game is still gonna be abysmal, where he gets punished by everything. So Kassadin is still going to be like scaling, but he's gonna be a bit better. He'll definitely be a bit better. Like we're going to see Syndra a lot, I imagine. Syndra, Orianna. Alright, this combo we're gonna see a lot. There's way less ability haste both for ADs and APs. What does this mean? As a general principle, champions with longer cooldowns go down. You want more reliability, so the champions who are better like in shorter bursts, like who have less cooldowns early game and mid late game. Right? If you can spam your abilities, you become better. If you have a super smart AI, you can just dump this in and it can spew out the meta that's gonna come out. Now, in the jungle, I'm not sure because the tanks are gonna be a lot better. So if somebody like Zac, I think goes insane, right? Because he has percent health on his W. He has heal, which is gonna have more value the more resistances you have. And he's still a very good character no matter what. He's a perfect bridge between damage and tankiness. The thing is that we're gonna have a lot of these tanks in game. I think we might also... Now, this is like a very, very risky prediction because it really depends on the items. Champs that are good at shredding tanks. I think Viego is gonna be there. Fights are gonna be longer. I think Viego is gonna be pretty damn good here. He builds percent health. He's good into tanks. Like a J4 is just gonna be insane, I think. Because he's a perfect bridge again in between tank and damage dealer. He can do both. Mumu is gonna go up in value. I don't think he's gonna be that reliable again. Because he never is. But he will go up in value. Red Kayn, Lilia. I think these are gonna go nicely. And my prediction for bot lane, I think we might go into protect the AD carry again. I honestly think we might go back into protect the AD carry. So Jinx Kog'Maw with Enchanter. I think we might go into this again. Fights are gonna be longer. You're gonna protect the AD carry and they're gonna go shred. Also Vayne, yeah. Losing your grip. I think this might be a lot better now. Again, easier early game, better scaling, like enchanters and then support predictions. So here, whoever can like extend the game, like you're gonna go Milia Jinx combos, you're gonna have Yuumi, all of these. Twitch AD carry will be good, yeah, Twitch. Like all of these can abuse lethal tempo. Lethal tempo has 6k value in late game. And this is the fun part, okay? This is why I'm saying this is fun, because the counterplay style to these is hardcore early game aggression. So if you want to play hardcore early game aggression, you want to get an engage and you want to completely nuke them. So you might go Leona or Nautilus to deny these guys scaling. And it's going to be very, very beautiful here. It's going to be very interesting how this goes. Vel'Koz is going to be pretty bad in support unless it's paired up with aggressive character. Like if you play Varus Vel'Koz, let's say. Right, this is not even close, by the way. You can have so many different champs. You can have so many different champs that are going to get better because of this. These are just very, very rough predictions, and who knows like if this happens at all. It's nice to hypothesize, right? Like I'm thinking Bard is gonna be pretty good because he also like he bridges the gap of an enchanter. He's good in extended fights and in slow fights. Akali is gonna be disgusting, by the way. Akali can build tank. Akali can build tank and just go nuts. Again, the only problem with her is like if you have some control mages and hard CC to deal with her, but yeah. Akali does way too much base damage, and base damage value goes up. She doesn't need to build damage to do damage. I don't know. These are interesting predictions. I think I'd like to look this in. These are interesting predictions. predictions. I think we touched on pretty much most of what's gonna happen. You can definitely like deliberate on this and ponder it way more and come up with more consistent predictions and like look into interplay between different characters. I can't wait. I'm excited. This is happening in less than 2 weeks. Can we see Mid-Zyra again? Nope, definitely not.